Hard work cannot be separated from success. And when I say success, I mean sustained success. You can have a blip or a moment. That for me doesn't define success. Hard work and success, sustained, go hand in hand. What I feel happens a lot of the time is, as people, we work hard at the thing that we're not good at. And I think that is sometimes an energy that gets lost. I've always worked in a space where I enjoy what I'm doing, and I work hard on what I love doing and what I'm good at. And so I'd rather focus on that. And that way, most days don't feel like work, most challenges don't feel like obstacles, and most successes feel in many ways like a reward for doing what I believed I was meant to do. So I don't take any days for granted. I will catch myself if there is ever a moment where I feel the need to complain about what is definitely a first world problem. All of this is a blessing. All of this is something I couldn't have imagined, and all of this is far more than I ever thought that as a human being I would ever receive. And so now I have, and it overflows to my family and to my community and to people around me. So I definitely don't take that for granted. Throughout all of that, the one thing that I always admired in my mom was that she had the ability to appreciate the reality of the world she was in, but also optimistically pursue the future that she wished to exist in. And that's for me what Goalkeepers is all about, optimism. People always ask, they go, is the world going to be in a better place? Is the world getting better, or is it getting worse? Now, depending on who you ask, there will always be a different answer. I've come to find one of the reasons I believe the world is getting better is because we have access to information on how bad the world actually is, which I know is a strange thing to say, but that's honestly what I believe. As a young person, and as someone who makes a show for young people, one of the most powerful tools I've realized is information. We come from an age where there was misinformation, disinformation, and there is some of it today. But now, more than ever, young people communicate across borders, across continents. You see people in England and in America and South Africa tweeting, talking to people in Myanmar. You see people speaking out about what they see happening in Sudan. You see people commiserating and sharing with victims of hurricanes across the Caribbean or across Texas. And whenever I look at that, I go, it's one of the most powerful tools that, if harnessed correctly, can lead to a completely new way that we communicate and we change the world. And young people are driven. That's one of the most beautiful things I've realized, is we live in a new age. Millennials oftentimes are mocked. They say they're lazy, they believe that they're entitled, and they cry about small things, which is true, but they're also driven. They also wish to make a change. They also believe that they can make a change. I believe that information and these tools that we possess today have helped increase that. More than ever, we see that in America. As the host of The Daily Show, I'm obviously in a world where we comment on news and politics. And one thing I've noticed with my audience is not only are young people growing into the world of politics, but they're engaged in a way that people were never engaged before, engaged in a way where they understand that they can actually change the course of history as opposed to just being a part of it. It's a beautiful experience to see that's taking place across continents. In my home country, South Africa, we see the same thing. Young people standing up and saying, we don't accept the status quo. We can change our destiny. We can change the future. We can be a part of this world. And essentially, that's what's happening in America right now. You feel it. People always come up to me and they go, Trevor, as the host of The Daily Show, how do you feel about Donald Trump? And I say, well, I don't know how to feel about him. And that's the honest truth. He's a paradox for me emotionally. One part of me is terrified at the notion that he's president of the most powerful nation in the world. The other side of me knows that every day he's going to make me laugh. I cannot deny this. The best way I can put it is, it's almost like there's a giant asteroid headed towards the Earth, but it's shaped like a penis. I think I'm gonna die, but I know I'm gonna laugh. And this is a tough place to be in. Because you have to process the very real situation that you are in, and that is a dangerous one. But at the same time, you can acknowledge that when you laugh, you're not controlled by fear. And that's something that I've always lived with in my life, in my family. You know, my mother always said to me, she said, when we're laughing, we're not afraid. When we're laughing, we're experiencing our truest selves. It doesn't mean what is happening to us is not real, but it means that we can process the very real world that is happening to us. And in many ways, I try and look at the positives. People go, is the world getting better? I go, I believe it's always getting better, but in many ways, the world is like the body. You cannot see the change when you look at it every single day, but if you take snapshots, you can see how things are getting better. You can also see how some things are getting worse. Climate change is one of those. And that's where young people are stepping up and saying, hey, hurricanes are a good example. You know, the intensity of these once-in-a-lifetime events has increased. Maybe it's time to do something. Young people are speaking up. Donald Trump is doing that. People are speaking up. They're engaging like never before. You know, for the first time in history, we're living through a time period where we're learning about the presidency at the same time as the president, which is engaging people like never before. You wake up, you read the newspaper, and you go, I've never knew this before. And somewhere at that exact same moment, the president is reading that same newspaper, saying the exact same thing. And that for me is exciting. Is it scary? Yes. But most exciting things are scary. But honestly, I saw it over the last few weeks, and I mean, it's still unfolding now. You have, you know, Hurricane Maria, which is wreaking havoc and moving, you know, to Puerto Rico now, and we're seeing the devastation. But we've also seen the giving. You know, I was touched by how many people, even on our show, reached out. And there is an opportunity for everyone to become a goalkeeper, which is what excites me. And that is, in this new world of technology, we have the opportunity to engage with activists on the ground level. People often mock millennials and they say these are hashtag activists. And I argue they're hashtag activists until they're given the opportunity to take it from a tweet into the streets. And so I urge every single one of you in this room, if you have the power, if you have the ability, if you have the information or the knowledge, take these people up on what they're offering. They're energized, they're optimistic, they're powerful beyond all measure, and I'm proud to say that I'm one of them. I'm a millennial.